Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. I know many of you are extremely curious. I get the messages about the new Yonex Percept that used to be the V-Core. The previous generation looked a bit like this.
V-Core Pro.
V-Core Pro, very good point, because V-Core is the spin line, E-Zone is the power line, and V-Core Pro was the control line. Now it's called Percept.
Yep.
This is your first experience with these. I've had a brief experience with the 97 and the 100, but today we also had the 97H. Nikki hopefully will get the 100D, maybe also the 97D in the future, because those are hard to come by. Yonex, I don't know if they have a shortage or something, but I haven't been able to get my hands on the D models for you who really like the dense string pattern. But so you're feeling, if we start with the 97, today we had a little bit of a hiccup with the swing weight, but otherwise, you know.
Yeah, in terms of like the feel, it's a nice feeling racket, but the swing weight is way too low. I would even go as far to say that with this low swing weight, it's unplayable.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a racket aimed at people that hit pretty big or pretty well, but the swing weight is so low that as you're hitting, the head just doesn't follow with you at all. So it feels like the racket is about this long and you're only hitting with the grip.
Yeah.
You know, there's just no feeling, no response from the head.
No mass, yeah.
Because this, you said it was 303 swing weight.
303 strong, which is 300 is something you can use because that's around 330 something without strings, but with strings it's anemic. You know, you have no weight on the racket, right?
So, and obviously the power level of the racket isn't high enough to combat that at all.
No.
So that's a shame. I think if like the only option to play with this would be to customize it. So when we get the other rackets, hopefully we'll maybe customize this. And do kind of like another test on it, because I feel like it's a racket that should be nice because it feels good in the hand and everything. The feeling on the, like as you strike is good, but the lack of swing weight is just unplayable, to be honest.
Yeah, it was actually, it was good when I played it with around 315. It felt a lot more solid and still whippy when I played with it in Sweden. But I get a bit frustrated when I see that the companies actually are able to sell a racket that is 303, because 303 strung, it means it's like 270 unstrung, and then it's just too light. Like you need to make sure that the quality control of swing weight is a bit higher.
Static weight is 310.
Yeah. So
310.
you can see the balancing. If you just balance it on the finger, there's all the weight is in the handle, right?
Yeah. So that for me is, that's a poor mistake from them.
Yep.
Which just means that, like, for example, if you have this as a demo, people aren't going to be able to hit with it.
No.
You know, like they're not going to like it just because of that. Because if the racket was better balanced and there was a little bit more swing weight, I think this would sell well. I think it's a nice racket. Feeling would be good. But as it is, obviously, then let's say we have to add 5, 6, 7, 8 grams. You're up at like 318.
Yeah.
Without
changes everything,
And then suddenly it becomes like a beefy racket.
Yeah. Which not everyone wants. You know, they want that whippy feeling.
Exactly.
Right?
So yeah, that was a bit disappointing.
Yeah. We move it then to the 97H, which is, you know, quite a significant step up. This is 330 grams unstrung. Swing weight I measured around 335 strung. Yeah. Good point. And it played like a tank, pretty much, you know.
Yeah, you have that like prestige kind of feel, but I would say a little bit nicer on the arm. Because in general these rackets are fairly dampened. We were talking about that, which to be honest I don't mind. I don't mind it, but the sweet spot was good. But yeah, it is pretty hefty. I mean, because the swing weight still isn't that high, I think the swing weight is still pretty low.
You can't play with
it.
For
a 330 gram racket, the swing weight is low.
Yeah.
You know, so you can play with it, but again, it's like it's too much on the other end of the spectrum compared to the 97.
Yeah.
So yeah, it plays nice, but I wouldn't be a racket I would recommend. I would hope that weighted up would play much better.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can just get that if you can customize. I mean, everybody can, but you can, you know, take your course or you can read on Tennis Nerd or whatever, or you can get help from someone. But just get some weight on it and it will play much nicer, you know.
This to be honest, it's just a bit too much.
I think the target group is so small. Like, I mean, Hubert Hurkacz, you know, it's like.
But like I said, I mean, the contact and everything, the ball feels nice, everything was good.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice racket. Just a little bit too heavy. Yeah. I think if this was like 315 or 320.
320 would
like the 97D, but that has an 1820 pattern, which I don't think is 100% necessary because these are pretty controlled anyway. Then it would be very nice, you know. Yeah. And then we get to the 100.
So this was both our favorite rackets. I like this from the previous model as well. And
exactly here.
Yep. And it's a little bit more chunkier. The hand feel is good. It's very stable. I could serve really nicely.
Yeah,
the ball went great from the ground stroke. Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't really fault it. And this is Untouched, we haven't customized it, just put an overgrip on it, strung it up, and it plays great. This by far was both in terms of like quality of feeling on the ball, impact, the way the ball came off the racket, all in all was definitely the best.
Yeah, for me this is the winner, the 100. I liked it the first time I tried it in Sweden earlier in the summer, and it still stays like as good. And you don't, like for most people, you don't need to go down to 97 because they do play quite similarly, I would say. You just get a bit more real estate on some shots. So the stability when you're getting hard shots, like Nicky hits a heavy ball, but I feel like it could really meet the ball thanks to this racket. So that's a possible switch for me. I think it's a great racket.
Yeah, you know? For example, in this line, I would say the 100 is much better. In terms, but for example, compared to the E-Zone, I would say that the playability you get from the 98 versus the 100 is quite a big difference.
Yeah,
which is unusual. So like, yeah, and I like that it's just a little bit thicker in the hand. It feels nice, like to hold.
Yeah.
All in all, this was great.
Great racket.
Yeah, all in all, it was very good.
Yeah, so an improvement, like, I mean, Nicky and I discussed how much of an improvement it is compared to the previous generation of rackets. You didn't feel that much of a difference. I feel like they're a bit more solid, a little bit stiffer, but not stiffer in a way that it's going to impact your arm really, but just a bit more solid feel. But they are close enough, I would say.
Yeah, I have to say, I think if these were strung up exactly the same, I don't think I feel a difference, to be honest. I really don't think there's a difference.
We'll do that in part 2. We'll try
yeah, we'll string them up the same. Next time we'll do a different comparison video.
Yeah.
And then on to the most important thing. What do you think? How do you rate the design compared to the old one?
Yeah, the design. I mean, this is Nicky's area of expertise. Obviously, he runs Guns Custom, so it's about painting and customizing the rackets exactly the way you want it. And he has experience. I personally was not in super love. I do like the green. Some is kind of like fresh in a way.
Yeah.
But compared with the other patterns, it's not super sexy to me. I kind of prefer the old one. I feel like that's a bit more funky. I know people were maybe in love with that one, but on certain backgrounds it did look pretty cool. So for me, I think I prefer the old one.
Yeah, me too. I think like I like the tone, it being a little bit different, but there's just a lot of colors going on.
Yeah, this part maybe.
Yeah, with the light, the dark, the red, then the very light. Yeah.
Not 100%, I think.
No,
actually.
I think it's maybe a bit love-hate. Some people are gonna love it.
I think they did. I mean, like what Yonex do, and which you can credit them for, or you can discredit them for, whatever, is that with the V-Core, the new V-Core line, they made the rackets significantly different. I wasn't not a huge fan of the new ones because they were quite springy.
Yeah.
But then with the E-Zone, they really got it right. The E-Zone 98 and 100 are amazing rackets, so great. These are still very good rackets, but they take risks. Like with the cosmetic, they didn't take risks with the actual racket here,
no,
but maybe with the cosmetic a little bit.
The cosmetics, and I feel like they could do a bit more. They could maybe use a little bit of gloss because I feel like the matte is very muted.
Yeah, exactly. I think that could maybe pop it up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like if you're gonna accent the colors, make it pop a little bit, or you like the metallic colors, leave it gloss so it like pops a little bit more. So yeah, I don't hate the cosmetics, but I don't love them either.
No.
What do you think? And the name?
The name, I don't want to talk about. No, but it's like, I mentioned that in the first impressions video I did with Henrik. It sounds like medication, right? I don't understand, like, I mean, it's about being perceptive and seeing the ball and hit, but it doesn't have a ring to it,
No.
It's like, I mean, it's good that they didn't go for some completely bland name, but it's a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit overthought, like they're trying to overthink it, be too clever, and then
underthought, it depends.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Probably in a year or two, we'll completely forget about it, and it'll be
Of
fine.
course, yeah, probably. Because I mean, V-Core Pro wasn't a great name because it's like
it was so confusing.
You take V-Core, which is a spin line, and then you think, oh, this is the heavier spin line or the more controlled spin line, but it's a completely different mold. So why is it no? So that made no sense. So it's good that they changed it. But E-Zone sounds good. V-Core, I think it works.
Yeah.
But then Percept, it doesn't really have the same ring.
No, it's like soft.
So that should have a shorter name as well, right?
Like punchy name.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just a name. But all in all, rackets were good.
Yeah, we'll get if he gets the D or I get the 100D and the 97D.
Yeah, we'll do a little.
We'll do more tests coming up for sure. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to play some tennis.
He knows that.